As I've mentioned, the control unit is completely able to operate independent of the computer. All of the functions and the features and the modes can be set up and operated just through the button interface on the module. The only thing that it won't do, of course, is kind of store things like the timing data, intervals and those sorts of things. So under some circumstances you may very well be able to and want to connect that module to a computer, store some of that timing data. That can be put into spreadsheets. Some of the students may be able to explore and reanalyze that data. It's also, under some conditions, it's much quicker to go and configure the unit using this computer control software that you're looking at here at the moment, rather than stepping through all of the hierarchy of menus on the control. But just to confirm, everything which the unit can do, it can do independent of the computer. So calibration data is stored on the module, but it can also be transferred to the computer. It can be transferred back from the computer to the control unit. So it can work in either direction. So once the control unit is connected to the computer, just using a standard USB cable, you can open this software. It only operates on Windows. And we need to go and connect the communications between the module and the software. And it does that through a serial port, a COM port. The drivers are just automatically installed. Once it's connected, you'll go to that central box there to go and find which COM port. I've been using this quite a bit, so it's got a few COM port 10s. COM port 10, which is communication port 10. Now that we've selected the name, and you will see which port is available on your machine. Click connect. It's now connected, and we've able to establish communications between the control software on the computer and the module itself. You can disconnect. Good idea to disconnect that before you take the module from the computer if you're going to run it separately. Just on this screen, you see here data from control unit in a number of these boxes down here. This is just where some of the data coming back from the module will first appear, so you can check to see that it's working. But depending which mode you've configured it in, so we'll click on the first tab. If we want to set up the single gate mode, we choose this tab. We've got some configuration options there. Again, for the dual gate, for when we get to titrations or the molecules, we can configure all of the relevant options onto those tabs. And when we've got the configuration set up, we would then click on the button here to set the unit into that mode. So if we, for example, go to molecule mode at the moment, we could load a previous calibration from the computer, and you'll see here in this little spreadsheet, this data grid, the various color values for that calibration have been loaded up from the computer, and we can look at them, and then if we click on this transmit button, that will send that calibration to the control unit.
Connect this device to a computer with the control software. Select the Molecule Configuration tab and follow the instructions. The system is ready.
So what we heard there was the control unit receiving the calibration data, and so it's now received that previously stored calibration data from the unit. We can set it into the molecular mode or atom mode as it's called here, and then go and use the unit.